In this guide I will show you one of the best solo farms in Guild Wars 2 at this time. It's very easy to do and it will require minimum time and effort, and you can make a decent amount of gold from it. This farm is about treasure hunting in the Janthir Wilds region, and you will get some Mursaat Runestones and unusual coins, which are needed to craft some in-game items, especially the new legendary spear that came with the Janthir Wilds expansion. And at the end of the guide I will show you how you can optimize this farm and maximize the amount of gold you can make. The only thing you will need for this farm is to own the Janthir Wilds expansion, and you must own the Workflow mount to use the skill Sniff. When you use that skill, it will scan the area around you and it will reveal treasures around you, and you can also see these treasures on the map. The only way to dig out that chest is to take your Workflow mount to the spot where the treasure is and then use your skill 2 again on that spot, and this time it will give you the skill Uncover instead of Sniff, and this will end up digging out a chest. There are 3 types of chests you can dig out this way. Most of the time you will get lesser Kodan cache. Sometimes you will get minor Kodan cache, and very rarely you will get locked Mythical Kodan cache. Especially this Mythical chest, you can only loot it a limited amount of times per day. In Lowland Shore, you can get only between 1 and 3 Mythical chests per day per account, and in Janthir Sentry you can only get 1 per day per account. There is another type of chest called Major Kodan cache. These chests you don't need to dig out from the ground, and you don't even need the workflow for them. You can simply walk up to them, interact with them to get the loot. And if you have the Treasure Hunter Protocol module installed on your Jade bot, you will also be able to see it on your mini-map. The lesser Kodan cache and the minor Kodan cache, you can just open them the moment you dig them out from the ground. You don't need any keys for them. However, the Mythical Kodan cache and the Major Kodan cache will require keys to open them. You can buy these keys from the Unusual Coins vendor, which you will find in Lowland Shore and Janthir Sentry. So in Lowland Shore, this will be right beside the Astral Ward Moon Camp waypoint, and you will find it right beside the waypoint here. Go to the last tab and you will see the options to buy Kodan cache keys. And if you have the 3rd mastery, Janthir Explorer Proficiency, which is a part of the Lowland Kodan section, you can buy extra 4 keys per day. While this one that you get by default, you can buy 21 per day. The vendor in Lowland Shore will sell you these keys using some karma and the Curious Lowland Honeycomb, which is the main currency for the Lowland Shore map. And in the second map, Janthir Sentry, you will find the Unusual Coin vendor south of the spawn waypoint, and from this vendor, same thing, you can go to the last tab and you can buy the keys. This vendor, however, the currency required for it will be the Curious Mursaat currency, which is also the main currency for the Janthir Sentry map. It's very important to understand that both vendors share the same limits, which means if I bought these 4 keys from this vendor now, they will disappear from this vendor, and they will also disappear from the other vendor in Lowland Shore. And so I recommend buying the keys using the currency you have more of, and it's easier for you to get. One of the things you can do to make your life easier when doing this farm is to use things like Blishhud and Taco. They will contain trails you can follow that will make it very easy for you to find these chests, and all you need to do is just be on your workflow, keep using your Sniff skill number 2 until you find a chest, and then dig it out and you will get your rewards. It's also very common when people find the Mythical Kodan cache, they will call it out in map chat. There are some clues that will help you find the chests in an easier way. The first one is an audio clue. When you use the Sniff skill and you are close to a chest, you are going to hear a ping. You will also see smoke coming out from the spot where the chest is. And even if you don't use your Sniff skill, you will see some mounds on the ground like this. They will not be as easy to see, but as you do this farm over and over, they will be easier for you to spot. On top of that, of course, you will see a chest icon on your map and on your mini-map, and when you hover on them, it will say detected treasure. Also keep in mind that there is a limit to the amount of chests you can find per day using this method, and that limit will be around 40 chests per day. Now I will show you the kind of rewards you should expect from each type of the Kodan cache. We will start with the lesser Kodan cache, which is the most common, and this is the one you will get the most of. We will open 100 caches now, and I will show you what we will get. We got 9 Mursaat Runestones, we got some unidentified gear, we got some orbs and crests, we got rare weapons, and then honey flower, and we also got some lesser upgrades. We also got about 400 unusual coins. The 2 most important items here will be the Mursaat Runestones Runestones, and the unusual coins. And based on the 100 chests we open now, and also a lot more that I have opened before, I can tell you that on average you will get 1 Mursaat Runestones from every 10 chests, which means there is about 10% chance you will get a Mursaat Runestone from the lesser Kodan cache. And you will get between 3 to 4 unusual coins from each lesser Kodan cache. Now let's open 100 minor Kodan cache and see what we will get. We ended up with 19 Mursaat Runestones, a lot more unidentified gear, 4 Lowland Pine Logs and 8 honey flowers, a lot more orbs and crusts, and also a lot more lesser jewels and medallions. We also got 1 exotic piece of gear. We also ended up with about 900 unusual coins. The 2 most important items again are going to be the Mursaat Runestones, which we got 20 of, which means there is about 20% chance of getting 1 Mursaat Runestone from each of the minor Kodan cache, and we will get about 9 unusual coins per minor Kodan cache. Now we will open 20 Mythical Kodan cache, which is the rarest out of all of them. And remember that you must have the Kodan cache keys to open the Mythical Kodan cache. We got 30 Mursaat Runestones, a lot of unidentified gear, 18 honey flowers, and 12 Lowland Pine Logs. We got some orbs and crusts, we got a lot of rare weapons, and we got some lesser upgrades and medallions. We also ended up with about 350 unusual coins. And this is just from 20 Mythical Kodan cache. And so as you can see, they are definitely the most profitable. You will end up with about 1.5 Mursaat Runestone from each 1 Mythical Kodan cache, and between 15 to 20 unusual coins per Mythical Kodan cache. Major Kodan cache is something you will loot immediately once you interact with the chest. So what I will do now is I will collect some of this major Kodan cache, and then I will show you the rewards we can potentially get. I opened all the major cache I could find in Lowland Shore, which ended up in total being 8. We got very lucky and we got the Wood Rune Ring, which is one of the ascended rings we can get from here. We also got 7 Mursaat Runestones, some unidentified gear, 5 honey flower and 6 pine logs, 6 rare weapons, 1 orb, and then lesser jewels and medallions. We also got 96 unusual coins. This was just from the caches I opened today in Lowland Shore. However, I have opened many other chests before and collected the data for them. And I can tell you that on average you will get between 0.5 to 0.8 Mursaat Runestones from each major Kodan cache you will open. And on average, you will get about 10 to 12 unusual coins per major Kodan cache. That is of course on top of the other rewards you will get, like the unidentified gear, the other gathering materials, and the rare weapons. Now, here are some tips to maximize your profit from doing this farm. The first one is to get the maximum stacks of the Lowland Expertise buff. Each one of them is very good on its own, but specifically when you get 4 stacks and then you open the chests, you will get extra materials like the honey flower and the Lowland Pine Logs. And then when you get 6 stacks, you will get extra unusual coins from each Kodan cache you will open. And getting this buff is actually very easy. All you need to do is finish any of the hearts in the Janthir Wilds maps and then talk to the heart vendor, and from here you can buy an item called Lowland Kodan Expertise for some karma. And this item can only bought once per day per character. And the best thing is, when you get a stack, it will refresh the duration of all the other stacks and it will stay with you for 24 hours of in-game playtime. The second tip is to always open the Kodan caches in one of the Janthir Wilds maps. If you open the Kodan cache in Janthir Sentry, there's a chance you will get Titan Umber and Titan Ore. And if you open the Kodan cache in Lowland Shore, there's a chance you will get some Pine Logs or Honey Flower. And so before you open the Kodan cache, check the prices of these items and see which ones sell for most, and then open the caches in the maps that will give you most profit. The most important rewards you will get from this farm are the unusual coins and the Mursaat Runestones. But the rest of the rewards, like the unidentified gear, rare weapons, and the orbs and crusts, will also add to your profit and they can significantly improve it. And so it will be very important that you deal with these rewards in the best way possible. For example, make sure you are using the best kits possible when dealing with unidentified gear and rare weapons, and then also upgrade your orbs and crusts into gemstones. And if you don't know what I'm talking about or how you can do that, I will link to some other guides in my description below. Unusual coins is a currency that is very important for endgame items. You can buy a lot of recipes recipes, for example, using them, and they are definitely one of the currencies you will need when crafting the new legendary spear. However, if you don't need them, then you can buy Mursaat Runestones using them, and each one will cost 200 unusual coins. And if you have the End of Dragons expansion, then from the map Seitong province, you will see an ancient coins vendor right beside the Daegu World waypoint. And when you talk to this vendor, in the last tab, you can exchange your unusual coins with ancient coins. This can be useful if you need the ancient coins, as this vendor offers a lot of recipes and items you can use with this currency. But also from the miscellaneous tab, you can buy Jade Runestones using 200 ancient coins. As of right now, Jade Runestones sell for a higher price than the Mursaat Runestones. And so this can be a way for you to make a little bit extra profit from unusual coins. However, always make sure you check the prices for both items if you plan on using the unusual coins in this way. If you found this guide helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to see more guides for Guild Wars 2. And if you have any questions or extra tips for our viewers, please leave them in the comments below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you very much and I will see you in the next guide.